the money you save in the future, you would have to contribute twice as much, if not more, in order to meet what you could have been contributing today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience, and I am Patience. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about top accounts to open in your 20s. So I am currently in my 20s, I'm 23 years old. These are all accounts that I have currently and plan on growing into the future. And they've really helped me. I think I started, some of them earlier in my late teens, but definitely in your 20s, most of these you should consider opening. The huge ones I think are definitely most necessary. Having all these 7 accounts would help set you up for financial success, and that's what I'm doing to set myself up for financial success, and so I wanted to share them with you. So let's get into it. But before we do, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell because I post 2 videos a week. So without further ado, let's get straight into the list. Starting with number 1, if you don't have it already, is a checking account. A checking account is very important to open, and I opened my first one when I was about 15 years old. I was under my parents. It really helped me when I got a job to be able to receive my paychecks, and whatever funds I got, I would receive it through my checking account. I know sometimes people don't even have a checking account. They would instead keep their money like PayPal, Cash Apps, or just other forms. I think it's really good to have a checking account open. It is FDIC insured at a reputable bank, and so that your money will be safe up to $250,000. Most people in America, majority of people, don't have $250,000 sitting in their checking account, and that's the limit for the FDIC insurance. If you happen to have over $250,000 in a checking account, just move it over to another bank. There are multiple banks in America, several. So even if you have millions of dollars to sit in a checking account, you can put it into several different bank accounts at different banks, and that would work. But that's better than having a non-secure way of keeping your money. But having a checking account is literally a basic way. So in order to get your debit card, have the funds all go to one place, any type of paychecks, and it just keeps account, just legitimate banking, and being able to have all your funds, or at least immediate funds, in one place, and debit card to go along with it. The second account you should consider opening is a credit card. I don't think credit cards are necessary if you don't have any need for any type of credit history. I think you can skip this one. But I opened my first credit card when I'm pretty sure I was like 20. It was actually a good decision because when it was time for me to move out, which was almost 2 years later, it was easier having a credit history in order to get an apartment. Now, not every apartment says that you should have a credit history, but most do. And if you don't, it limits your options, or having to put down like 3-4 months of deposit before you can even move in. So for me, as a 21-year-old renting an apartment for a first time, the only type of credit history, because I didn't have student loan debt, I didn't have any other type of debt, I never bought a car before, so the only type of credit history I had was on my credit card. And because I never missed a payment, I never paid interest, I always paid a credit card account in full every single month. I had a good credit history in order to use that to get my first apartment, and then when I was getting this apartment. So that's really a good account that you should consider. I have several videos on credit cards and if you should open it, reasons to not. For some people it's a moral issue, others it's not. And if you really don't have any other way of getting credit history and you feel like you're gonna need it in the future, opening a small credit card, starting with a secured credit card. I think I started mine with like $300. I used Discover. 8 months later, it was transitioned into a full-on credit card, and they raised my credit limit, I think, to like $1,000 at that time. So it was really good, and I got my money back. When you do a secured credit card, you have to send your money. So I sent it $300, and they kept it till it became a full credit card. They sent my money back to me. The third account you should consider opening in your 20s is a high-yield savings account. This is a good place to put your emergency fund. Having a good 3 to 6 month emergency fund is reasonable, and it's just a good practice to always have. So it's really important that you have a place to keep it. And a high yield savings account is good because now a lot of high yield savings accounts are offering like 3, 4, 5% just to keep your money there. And sometimes that's even better than the stock market recent years. This is a no risk way of just saving your money and collecting those interests. And with that being said, just like the FDIC insurance applies to your checking account, you can do this as well with your high yield savings account. You don't have to open your high yield savings account with the company you have your checking accounts with. You can open it with different companies and keep your money there. And so if it's over $250,000, split it up between banks because it's what you have per bank rather than per savings account. What I personally use is a Capital One 360 savings account, and I have a whole video about how it works. I love it. I've had a really good experience using it in the past almost 2 years now, and I will continue to use it into the future. But having a good high yield savings account is really imperative because you don't want to mix up with like the money you immediately go to. The reason why you want to put it into a high yield savings account versus something like a brokerage account that makes it harder to get. It should be money that if you need immediately, you can have access to, but it shouldn't be mixed in with your everyday money. But you can also certainly use high yield savings accounts for, let's say you're planning a wedding in the next year. You don't want to put the money in the stock market, but you don't also want to put it in a checking account that returns like 0.01%. You can get a little higher return on your money putting it in a high yield savings account that returns like 4 or 5%. So you can do that for getting a wedding, emergency fund, deposit on a car, or a deposit on a house, or just any type of big ticket item that is coming within the next year, 2, or even maybe 3 years. You don't want to take your chance in the stock market. The next account you want to consider opening in your 20s is dependent on your job and your health insurance, which is a health savings account. So if you don't know what a health savings account is, check out a video I have on my channel. It is a triple tax benefit. You can contribute up to a certain amount. I think this year was like $4,000, almost $200 per person. For families, like over $8,000. Not only do you not pay taxes on the money going in, so it benefits you on your taxes. As long as you use it for medical bills or medical related, you can pay that money to them without paying any taxes on it at all. So you're literally saving money. Not only is it a savings account, you can invest the money. I think $1,000. You can literally invest the money. All the details are in the video that I made specifically talking about a health savings account. So check it out and learn it. If you have a high deductible health plan, you will also be offered an HSA that you can contribute to. And typically, if you are contributing per month, I think about $300-400 a month would be what you need to max it out. Do your research on it, but a health savings account is imperative because in this world, we all don't know what's gonna happen in the future. You can save this money also for your retirement because remember, the older you get, the more health problems we naturally just have. And you don't know the future. If you also want to have kids in the future, having kids are very expensive and it can be risky. And this is something that you can use to pay for childbirth because even after insurance, a lot of people have to go into a medical debt in order to have kids. One of the biggest reasons why people file for bankruptcy is medical reasons or medical debts. Look into it to see if you qualify and if you can open it and start maxing it out today. The next account you want to look into are retirement accounts. And like I said, you can use the HSA as a form of retirement as well, but opening specifically retirement accounts is really important in your 20s because that is when you have the power of compound interest, which some people have called the 8th wonder of the world. $1 today that I saved in my 20s compounded over the next years until I retire is worth more than the dollar I saved when I'm 30. And that's worth more than the dollar I saved when I'm 40, when I'm 50. When you give your money the chance to grow, the power in it and the value grows with it as well. So I just took a class in my grad school called Engineering Economics, and we talk about the time value of money and what's the difference between $1 today and $1 you save there is definitely the time that it has to grow and the power of compound interest. So do not underestimate it and think, oh, I was saving in the future. The money you save in the future, you would have to contribute twice as much, if not more, in order to meet what you could have been contributing today. Definitely have videos about retirement accounts. I did one at the beginning of this year. You can contribute $7,000 to your Roth IRA. And remember, Roth IRA is money that you pay taxes on today, so you open it on your own. It's an individual retirement account. It is not tied to your job in any way, shape, or form. I opened my Roth IRA account when I was 20 years old. That's something certainly you don't have to wait till you have a full-time job to do. The money that you put into the Roth IRA, the reason why there's a maximum, there's a cap, is because that money grows tax-free. If you just give that money time to grow, it's gonna grow into millions of dollars if you're literally maxing out every single year. So by the time you get to retirement, you're gonna have millions of tax-free money, depending on what you, of course, invested in. Another retirement account is definitely the 401k. There's a Roth 401k and a traditional 401k, just like the IRA. By the way, there's a Roth IRA and then there's a traditional IRA, but typically the Roth IRA is like the go-to. If your job offers a 401k, definitely contribute. Most jobs offer a 401k, and over 50% of companies offer 401k matches for their full-time employees. First started my job, one of the first things I did was open a 401k. I had looked into it and I saw the benefits of it. Not only if you do a traditional 401k are you going to save on taxes today, but that money is going to grow, as well as the money that your employer matches. In the future, you will pay taxes on it when you start withdrawing it. You can start withdrawing the money at 59 and a half years old. That money is taxable at that time. But if you do a Roth 401k, it's like a Roth IRA, just that you can contribute more. Again, I have a whole video on this, so I don't want to do too much explaining here. Look into it. It's very worth your while. I think we live in a moment and we don't think about the future. You have two options. You're either going to not live that long, or you're going to live into, the old ages. And the longer you live, the more likely you are to live longer. The average person today in America is living well over 70 years old. More than ever, people are outliving what we had in previous decades. It's better to have something saved, and maybe you wouldn't need it because you don't live that long, than to get to old age in your 50s, 60s, 70s and still having to work because you didn't save today for retirement. And the next account that you definitely want to look into is a 529. But you don't have to open that now. You open it when you have children, but it's good to start looking into these things now and getting acquainted with it, learning more about how it can help you and your family in the future. And typically a lot of people have kids in their 20s and 30s. So if you get to the point where you are married, you have children, you want to start opening those accounts for them. A 529 is a college fund basically for your children that you can save on the money going in. It grows, and as long as they use it on their education, all that money can be taxed free. If they decide to do something else, I think they have to pay taxes on it. You have to look into that. But there are a lot of tax benefits and a lot of future benefits for your children. College is getting more and more expensive. The average and the median student loan debts are always growing, and you don't know what your kids will be into. They may want to be a doctor. A lot of doctors have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because when you go to medical school, it's not something that a lot of people can pay out of hand, and oftentimes you can't even work when you're in medical school. And it's 4 years of literally not working and spending tens of thousands of dollars every single year. So it's something that's worth looking into. Even being a lawyer, lawyers also have a lot of student loan debt. Dental school, postgraduate degrees, it's a lot unless your company's paying for you, but with medical school it's very different. Setting your children up for success in the future, especially if you can afford to. I'm not married and I don't have kids, but it's something that I'm already looking into, because the moment I have kids, I'm definitely opening an account for them and we're going to be saving for them, trying to set them up for success, just be at a better level when you get out of college, rather than being stuck with more student loan debt than they should have. Hopefully they're able to take out any and I can help them pay for it. Definitely want to set them up for a good life and a good future. And the last but absolutely not the least is a regular taxable brokerage account. So this can be for single stocks, index funds, whatever you decide to put in there. And the reason why this is the last one is there's no tax benefit to opening a taxable brokerage account. I mean, if you do keep the money in long term for over a year, you can benefit from long-term capital gains tax. You pay reduced taxes, but compared to something like the Roth IRA where you're paying no taxes and it's for retirement, which I forgot to mention, there's also a penalty if you take it out early. You don't have that penalty on a regular taxable brokerage account, but there are literally like no tax benefits. So unless this is money that you're saving for buying a house 5-10 years from now and you're just saving your down payments, you can put it in that so it rides it out with the market or something long term. That's a good place to go. But first, make sure that you are contributing to your other accounts. Tax advantaged accounts brings you more benefit than a regular taxable brokerage account. So for example, I'm not gonna put money in a regular taxable brokerage account if I've not maxed out my Roth IRA, if I'm not at least contributing to my employer match on my 401k, if I'm not maxing out my HSA, if I don't have a fully funded emergency fund that I can easily get to. So this is an account that if you have extra money or you're just saving for something long term, a bigger purchase years from now, you can certainly use to your advantage, but don't skip all of the other ones. Open a regular taxable brokerage account for retirement because you're skipping the pre-tax benefit that you can get with a traditional IRA or traditional 401k, after-tax benefit that you could have gotten from a Roth IRA or Roth 401k, or even the medical benefits that you can get with an HSA, accessibility and the stability you can have with a high-yield savings account, putting emergency funding. If you don't already have an emergency fund, and then you put your emergency fund in a taxable brokerage account. So these are things that we all need to think about. And that's the list of those accounts that I certainly think that is worth opening, or at least looking into opening in your 20s. It will set you up for financial success. Like I said, you don't need all of them if they don't fit into you. So for example, I certainly think you need a checking account. Like I think everybody needs a checking account. On the other hand, a credit card, I think you can do or not do without, depending on what your financial situation is and what you need credit for. I think you need a retirement account. An HSA you don't need if you don't have the option to do it with your plan, but it's not something that would absolutely not set you up for financial success. But definitely taking advantage of your retirement accounts, definitely taking advantage of a high yield savings account with any money for your emergency fund, and a 529 taxable brokerage account here. So if you don't have any extra money, these accounts are grounds for a good financial future. Currently, I have 6 of these. I don't have a 529, like I said, I don't have kids. And they certainly helped me plan more for financial success and be more financially aware. So I wanted to tell you about it because I find that it works great for me, and hopefully you can look into it to help organize your finances and hopefully set you up for financial success in the future as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. Let me know in the comment section, are there any of these accounts that you're definitely gonna look into opening or you already have, and which ones would you not have? Remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring notification bell because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and on Fridays. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.